In this video, I just kind of want to bring it to your attention that you do have the ability in Workstation's environment to configure some of the keyboard features that operate with your virtual machines. Now, keyboards still come in various sizes and configurations. Some of them have a lot more keys than others, different keys, and it's kind of astonishing that we still, as of yet, haven't reached the point of any kind of standardization in keyboards. Well, many different keyboard functionalities can be changed in your virtual machines, and this can do all kind of things. It can let you better deal with international keyboards with other characters and keys. It'll give you better handling of keyboards that have extra keys on there. You know, you can go to your local computer store and you can see keyboards with, you know, their bazillion keys on them. You can see small keyboards with just the bare minimum, and you can also change your hotkey operations for your common operations. And if you just go to Edit, Preferences, and Hotkeys, and I'll show you that in just a few minutes, out in the interface you can set those. Now by hotkeys, I mean the like Control-Shift or the Control-Alt type hotkeys. That's the standard hotkeys that you use for everything. We'll talk about keyboard shortcuts in a separate video. But you can also change how a specific key is mapped, and this is kind of interesting, and I'm not going to go into it here. I just want to tip you off to this. But if you work with foreign languages or international keyboards, you can even look at this little scan map, and you can determine, for example, when I press the A key on a keyboard, I can determine that should put up something besides an A based on the location of the key on the keyboard. Some pretty freaky stuff, but you can do that if you need to. You can just go see your Workstation documentation, and if you don't have that, you can go out to VMware and get it. I don't want to put a copy of that in the work files because it's changing and getting updated all the time, and it'd be better for you to go to VMware and just get the Workstation 8 documentation that you find out there, and you get it in PDF format. Now, the enhanced virtual keyboard feature is the main thing that you need to be aware of when it comes to keyboard features in your virtual machine. And keep in mind, though, this is available on Windows host only, so if you're running Linux host, you can't do this. But this gives you better handling of international keyboards and those keyboards with those extra keys. Now, what's interesting about this is, and you may like this on the Windows side, it processes raw keyboard input as soon as possible. And in English, that means it bypasses Windows keystroke processing. So keystrokes get passed straight up into the virtual machine, and this is a security improvement. It can help in some forms of malware because it can bypass malware functionalities on reading some of the Windows keystroke processing. And something else that's kind of interesting, if you use the enhanced virtual keyboard feature, it makes Control-Alt-Delete, which we're all used to at this point, visible to the guest operating system only. As you know, just try this. Open a virtual machine, Workstation 8, make it full screen, Control-Alt-Delete. First thing you're going to see is that your host machine is going to come up with whatever happens when you hit Control-Alt-Delete there. On Windows 7, you get that menu that says you want to start Task Manager, do this or that, log off, whatever. You can just cancel that. Then you'll see the Control-Alt-Delete screen in whatever guest operating system you had. But once you use the enhanced virtual keyboard feature and you turn that on, then that Control-Alt-Delete just goes straight to the virtual machine and it doesn't mess with your host. So you may like it just for that. Now, it requires that you must have installed the enhanced keyboard driver when you installed Workstation 8, and you probably did not do that. If you took just the typical installation of Workstation 8, then you didn't get that. So to get it, you just have to go back, put your Workstation disk in, reinstall Workstation, or you're not really going to reinstall it, you're just going to kick off the installation again. You're going to let it run and hum for a minute, then you're going to choose Modify or Change, and then you're going to select Enhanced Keyboard Utility, and just follow the prompts, and there you have it. So let's jump out to Workstation. I want to show you where you can find some of this stuff and where you can learn about it. So here we are out in Workstation, and I'll just use my Windows Vista machine here. Notice if, first of all, on the hotkeys, let me show you that while I'm here. If I go to Edit Preferences, notice there is hotkeys right there. Now notice, for example, to enter or leave full screen mode, I can hit Control-Alt-Enter. And we'll talk about this later in keyboard shortcuts. But if I want to take the control out of that, I can just hit Alt-Enter. Or if I take this out, then it's going to disable all my hotkeys. And so I can put Control-Alt. I can put the Win key in there if I would like. It's kind of a neat little interface, but it's a little bit funky at first, and so they're giving you some more information down here. I'm just going to cancel out of this. So that's how to change them globally for all your Control-Alt functions and all that sort of thing. But then to do the enhanced virtual, I will go into the settings on the individual virtual machine and then go to Options, and under General, right down here you will see Enhanced Virtual Keyboard. And it's telling me right here the VMware keyboard driver is not installed on the host. So this is telling me that I would need to go back, kick off my workstation installation again, and modify it and tell it to install that. But if I had it, notice I can use if available, or I can make it required. But that's how I would turn it on if I had it. And I'm not going to bore you with going through and setting that up. I'll leave that for you to do on your own. But I wanted you to know about this enhanced virtual keyboard functionality. It's something you need to take note of. It's just one of those little tricks you need to know about out there working in VMware using Workstation 8.